Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Sing versus Funic for a Fistful of Tangoes here on Beyond the Summit. This is game number 2. If you missed game 1, the VODs will be available on our YouTube channel. By the way, you guys should all totally go subscribe. YouTube.com/BeyondTheSummit.tv. It's free, and if you ever miss something here, you can catch the VODs there. But with all that being said, this is game number 2. If you missed game 1, it is currently Sing leading the series 1-0 in this best out of 3. Now the players will swap sides, and we are going to head to this game number 2 and see, can Funic pull it back and force that deciding game 3, that 1v1 Shadow Fiend mid, or Clown Fiend mid, because it is a very funny looking mode with no items and no runes, which will be this will be the last day we do that, but we'll see if it happens. Funic has to take this game 2 to force a game 3. Very quickly, we'll review the rules for anyone who is not familiar with a Fistful of Tangoes. No bottle crowing, soul ring, or neutral usage of any kind. That includes taking them over with Helm of the Dominator, Sing gods. It also includes farming the neutrals or pulling, stacking, any sort of shenanigans with them. Can't use the neutrals. You get an extra 150 gold for a courier, and you must use that gold on a courier. As for hero selection, there are 3 predetermined possible matchups. Each player secretly vetoes one of the matchups, and then we reveal the 2 vetoes. If both players veto the same matchup, that leaves 2. Then we use a coin flip to determine which one of the remaining 2 is played. If they veto different matchups, then you do the math. There's only one left, and then we just use that. There's no picking in this particular mode, but for game 1, we use coin flips to determine heroes and sides. The first of 2 kills or 2 towers wins. They've already played that game 1, so now we flip sides for game 2, and if game 3 is needed, again, it's 1v1 Shadow Fiend mid, no items, no runes. First killer, first tower wins. Yes, we know about the new 1v1 mid mode in Dota 2. We will be using it for future matches, but these matches were already played, so we won't be using it today. With all that being said, that's enough about the rules. We're in Funic versus Sing. Korok versus S4 was played earlier today, and if you missed that match, I actually thought it was one of the better matchups we had. Didn't get as many viewers as some, but I thought it was one of the most interesting. I highly recommend checking it out. In the end, it was S4 who took that. Team Liquid's Korok was knocked down. No Tidehunters. S4 moves on. He'll be facing the winner of this best out of 3. With all that being said, the matches we gave the players: Shadow Fiend versus Pudge. Oh man, I'm so sad we didn't get this one. Leshrac versus Shadow Shaman, and Queen of Pain versus Rubik. God, I wanted to see that Sing Pudge. But in the end, Funic vetoed that matchup, perhaps terrified of Sing's Pudge, and of course Sing vetoed the Queen of Pain versus Rubik. That leaves us with this matchup. We've already played that coin flip match, the Sing Shadow Shaman on the Radiant versus the Funic Leshrac on the Dire. So now we flip sides. Funic's on the Shadow Shaman on the Radiant, Sing's on the Leshrac on the Dire. With all that being said, game number 2 is ready to go. Are you guys ready? Are you ready? Good. It's time to get this rodeo on the road. Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2, Sing versus Funic. This is a best out of 3. This is game number 2. Currently, Sing leading the series 1-0. He played the Shadow Shaman side of the matchup, and we probably should have audio, shouldn't we? There we go. Now we have audio. He played the Shadow Shaman side of the matchup. Now it's time to see Sing. Currently teamless, by the way. If you're looking for a player who makes some pretty funny plays, I highly recommend him. Also, by the way, he's pretty good at Dota. He's playing Leshrac on the Dire side. He's leading 1-0 on the Radiant side. We have Funic, really well known for his off-lane play, his Clinks, and of course, his Wisp play. Words on the tip of my tongue. He's playing the Shadow Shaman. It looks like both players are going for an eco build this game. We saw Sing on the Shadow Shaman last game. He went for more stats, more consumables, delayed his bottle by quite a bit, but had a little bit more presence in the lane early on. Interesting to see Funic is just going for the bottle rush. Let's see if it works out. The thing about Ether Shock is you can use it a decent number of times. You can use about 3 Ether Shocks before needing Clarities, but you can't really farm your bottle solely off of this. It's not like having Void on Night Stalker, where you're also tanky enough to just walk in and take last hits and take a little bit of harassment. Shadow Shaman's frail, so that level 1 Ether Shock, not really the best for last hitting. We may see him just wait until he gets level 3 to actually use it, but if you do that, you're delaying your bottle, so I'm not totally convinced about just doing the eco bottle rush on Shadow Shaman. I think it's okay, but against a good Leshrac player, his nukes are much more spammable. Well, somewhat. I guess not much more. You can use like 4 nukes instead of 3, but it's also a stun, so not only is he going to do damage to you if it hits, but he can also auto-attack you a few times, and he's got the better attack animation and damage anyway. Well, range anyway, I should say. And already Funic just going to work on those creeps. Shocking 1 down. He's got a couple more shocks up his sleeve. Let's see when he uses them. That early bottle rush, whoever gets it out first, generally is going to have the edge. When it comes to the runes, I don't think either player scouted it. Wasn't actually paying attention, but it's going to be an invis bottom. Pretty sure those couriers were just sitting at base. I was checking Skype, though, to make sure I'm actually communicating in-game, so if I missed it, my apologies. Either way, level 1 for both heroes. Nothing really exciting. This is a slow developing matchup. And Funic is going to use all of his Ether Shocks right away. Sing hasn't used a single nuke yet. But Funic, with those nukes, will be able to just get his bottle. Even so, he's not going to have much mana to work with for a while now, and that's something Sing can look to take advantage of. Remember, you can't bottle Crow, so spamming those nukes, sure, you get your bottle out sooner, but even then, each bottle charge is basically one nuke, a little bit less than that. So even with the fresh bottle coming out, you still can't really spam them. We'll see if Sing can punish this. I gotta say, Funic has just dominated him so far. 5 and 4 already on the Shadow Shaman, and he's only using the nuke on creeps. He's not even harassing Sing down, he's just completely out CSing him, and really pulling ahead. Leshrac should... I mean, I'm still convinced that Leshrac does have the edge in terms of the early last hit. He's got the better nukes, but we haven't seen see Sing really use those nukes too much. Just the one split Earth thrown out. Isn't spamming them, isn't trying to zone the Shadow Shaman out. We saw Funic really favor that aggressive early landing, spamming the nukes, controlling the runes, getting the bottle out quickly, and forcing the Shadow Shaman to last hit under the tower. But Sing isn't doing that. He's letting Funic get free roam, and it's getting really painful to watch. 11 and 4 already compared to 2 and 1, and you can see Sing heading towards the bottom rune. He saw Funic going top. He's going to position himself south of the tower. If you're ever in this situation, this is what you want to do, because you can still get some last hits under the tower. You don't just want to drag all the creeps down with you, because if they also come here, you're going to take... if the enemy hero also comes here, he might be able to kill you, and even if he doesn't, you're taking a lot of damage. So it's a smart adjustment, just a little thing that you'll see mid players do. If they know their opponent's going to beat them to the top rune, they'll just position themselves south of the tower, fight the creeps there, and then if they see you going for it, which you can at daytime, you can see right into the river, then it's very easy. It's very easy to basically get that rune first. So it's a nice tactic. Bottle is up on both heroes. 12 and 7 out for the Leshrac. Funic didn't get the rune, so we can see his mana pool starting to run a little bit dry. He should still have a decent time of it, though. And Sing, interestingly enough, is going for Edict. He just wants to win this by getting a kill. It looks like he doesn't really feel that he's going to take this later on in the game, once those wards come out. And if you do a great job of ward trapping, you can just kill a hero, like Shadow Shaman, or like Leshrac. Even though he's normally pretty survivable, even though the phase boots help you get out of the wards, even so, you can still fall. But the problem is, if you don't isolate that Shadow Shaman, Edict is useless. It's absolutely useless unless you're able to isolate him away from the creeps. And just checking Skype. I don't have gods here, so I don't know if there's any issues with the stream, but it seems like everything's okay. I'm not convinced about the Edict build. I feel this is a very... I mean, it's not even just that it's risky. It's you lose if you don't isolate that enemy hero, because Edict doesn't do enough damage to actually scare anybody when they're near the creeps. And sure, it'll give you the edge going towards the runes, but you can also have the edge going towards the runes with the lightning build, just because you can outpush the Shadow Shaman. So let's see. Maybe Sing Se will really make it work. This guy built Helm of the Dominator on Puff and won a 1v1. So who am I to question him? I have to say that. But that being said, I'm not convinced. We'll see. Now you can see the lane is getting pushed in favor of the Shadow Shaman. He's going to go top. Funic will pick up the rune. Funic really dominating so far. 20 and 11. If you're not that familiar with 1v1, to be over doubling your opponent's CS, especially when they have arguably the slightly better hero before level 6, it's very, very impressive. And you know, what makes it even more impressive is that Sing's gone for this Edict build, but just hasn't found any openings to actually go in, and that's just a credit to Funic, always having more creeps. He hasn't actually seen an Edict yet, so I don't think he knows, but he has to be suspicious, because if Leshrac was going Lightning build, he'd probably have been spamming it quite a bit by now. So just the fact that we haven't really seen that Edict come out, it pretty much means you know he's gone Edict build, or he's just holding all the skill points in reserve. But either way, you have to anticipate it. And Funic, with the level 6 up, we gotta be careful here for Sing Se. Oh, the split earth hits. If that one missed, Funic was going in. He may still go in. He's gonna walk up the hill. He's got the worst base move speed, though. And
Dire's top tower is
with the boots and bottle now out of both players, we equalize again. But that next item's gonna be coming soon for Funic. What will he go for? He played very aggressive on Leshrac last game. Wouldn't mind seeing that Blink Dagger, just to set up the ward traps a bit easier. I mean, if you get one kill with that, it's pretty much game, I want to say, because Leshrac can't really leave his tower anymore. Even if he's at his tower, if you have creep support coming. It is risky, though. If you screw that up, then you have an item that doesn't help you fight. And if Leshrac gets a kill on Yusei, then you're just going to have an item that's useless for defending. So, we'll see, but it's always an option. If it's not that Blink, the Necro 3, we saw that earlier. You can get the Yule Scepter to set up your ward trap, but you already have Hex. There come the wards. Now the Shackle. He's going to manually retarget the wards. For anyone who's not familiar with Shadow Shaman, you can do this. No mana for an Ether Shock. Underestimated how much mana he would need because he's forced to use the double disable and didn't get the ward trap. He did start with the Hex. That's what you want to do. The problem was he tried to Hex him as Sing was running up the cliff. Just lost the set there for a second. Couldn't quite land the ward trap. Does still drive Sing back to base. And it's something which should be mentioned is even if you don't find the kill, using the wards is still not necessarily bad because it does push the lane. It can push the lane in this case because it's in the lane. And even if it's away from the lane, if your opponent's low, they're not going to be able to contest that rune. We saw Sing had to get out of Ether Shock range there. So it allows Funic to chip away at this tower. I really like the fact that he engaged in the lane because even when he missed the kill, the creeps die to those wards, so the lane pushes a little bit. And an interesting development. Leshrac going for the Edict build. Everybody thinks about Edict and they think, oh, this ability is amazing for pushing towers. And it is. But you gotta be next to the tower to do it. And the problem is that Sing just doesn't really have the AoE to bring down the creep waves right now. With Pulse Nova, he could use it on the creep waves. But even so, it's very expensive to use Pulse Nova early on. It's something you normally use only to get that last couple of chip shots. There's your Hex. And now the nuke will come. Yep. Just that level 4 Ether Shock. It's burst damage, and if you take an Ether Shock and then you try to run an Edict to your opponent, you're likely to just die to the Hex, to the creeps auto-attack you, to the second Ether Shock, because one thing it does have going for an Ether Shock is a very low cooldown. Only 8 seconds, which if you compare to Lightning's even lower, but that Ether Shock is, it's a very reliable nuke, and I think it does a bit more damage than the Chain Lightning. I'm actually 65 more, or, wait, is that 75 more? 30... I think, whatever. It's like 60 or 70 more. It's a good amount more. Here goes the war trap. Funic, this is looking a lot better for him. And Sing just melts. Oh boy, he doesn't have those extra items. He doesn't have those phase boots. And even if you don't get war trap, sometimes the phase boots save you just because you can run away a bit faster. Funic really playing well. And the best part for him, the wards are range of the tower. So again, when he's fighting with the wards, he's fighting under the tower. This is how you want to play the Shadow Shaman side of the matchup. Funic really dominating Sing here. And looks like we may be headed to a game 3, the way this game is developing. Going for the Edict build, if you fall behind early, you can never run next to the Shadow Shaman. And once those wards cool down, he's up to 2,700 gold. Funic, what's it going to be? Are you going to go for the Juggler here? He's bought something. And it's a Magic Wand, and it's the Blink Dagger. I love this choice, especially when you're 1 kill away from victory. You get the Blink, and then if Sing... Basically, what you're likely to want to do with this is just hide the Blink Dagger, wait until your wards cool down. We'll see if he leaves it next to his tower, or if he actually shows it, because if you do show that Blink, then Sing can play a lot more cautious. But even if he's playing cautiously, you're still rune controlling him, you can push with the wards. Looks like he's not going to hide it. Well, he may. The rune did spawn bottom, it's an invis. The thing is with Shadow Shaman, he's very mana dependent. To use this whole combo is incredibly expensive. 360 plus another 250. I think that's 510 total mana. Or 610. Yeah, 610 total mana. It's a lot of freaking mana for a hero that has a 585 mana pool. I mean, to use the full combo, it's just an overwhelming amount. It's why you see most Shadow Shaman players go for Arcane Boots and get things like the Magic Wand. my Skype mods are assuring me that the stream is fine. By the way, guys, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for the huge turnout. Sorry we've had trouble getting these matches played, but I'm really glad you guys are enjoying the 1v1 matches, and we do plan on doing more fun stuff like this in the future. Now that Valve's implemented that only mid mode, I actually haven't seen exactly what it is, but from what Cyborg Matt has been telling me, it's something we should look to use in the future. So we'll use things like that. We may do some fun 5v5 pudge mids. You know, honestly, it could be like the coin flip for matches. That's how, with this only mid mode, I actually think that's how sides should be decided. If you ever played competitive Counter-Strike, the way that teams would decide who played counter-terrorist or terrorist first was it came down to a knife round, which is basically just a weird mode, a different mode. He's placing the wards. He wants to find that opening for the Blink Hex. But it's a fun way to actually decide who gets side first that's not a coin flip. I would love to see 5v5 pudge mid. Every hero has 1 life. Something ridiculous like that, deciding who gets side first. I think it would be more fun. And hey, it would still come down to skill. Well, maybe if there's pain issues, we shouldn't do it. But at least for a LAN event, I would love to see people experiment with how that choice of side is determined instead of having it just be coin flip or, you know, Radiant side first. But we'll see. Maybe someday. Or even just giving people the choice of whether they want Dire or whether they want first pick. Here we go. Funic's on the hunt. A midget blink to the low ground, and Sing channels the edict. Now what's the splitter? Oh, Sing just missing it. Here come the wards. Here comes the ether shock. He's got to stay out of that edict range, and Sing is just sitting here helplessly. He wants the ward. Or the rune. The rune. He will get it. Blinking to the high ground is Funic, looking to run away. Ward trap did fail. The jig is up. That blink dagger has been revealed. The wards have been showed as well. I don't think Saint... I don't know if he saw these wards getting placed because it was nighttime. But Saint is still going to have to be very careful. I still think it's really Funic's game to lose. He's been forced to play so defensively because of that blink dagger. Can't really engage. Can't really contest the creeps too easily. And that means Funn1k can just out-farm him. But you don't go for blinked out-farm your opponent. You go for this to find that one kill and win the game. Here he comes back towards the mid lane. And also, if, as you may be noticing, as Hex levels up, it gets dramatically more expensive. It's 200 mana at level 2. I mean, just look at that. Just one Ether Shock, Hex, Mass Serpent Wards. That's your entire mana pool, without, pretty much, without counting the Shackles. And sure, you could have Magic Wand charges, but if you don't, it's very hard. Oh, Funic, just toying with Sing here. Blinks away, dodges that Split Earth. And the other nice thing, this is another nice benefit of the item, which I didn't mention, is you can just blink dodge whenever you see that Split Earth coming. The Split Earth will be barely juked, and now Sing's in a bit of trouble here. Where's that Shackle? No Shackle, just goes for the nuke and picks up the kill. 2-0 Funic. Surprising. I really thought that Leshrac would have the edge, but we're just seeing really nice play, especially from the, in this game, I have to say, from the Shadow Shot. But Funic takes this game. Guys, we're headed to that deciding game 3. It is 1v1 Shadow Fiend mid. As previously mentioned, it is going to be no items, no runes. The reason is this match was played before the new patch for everybody who's freaking out. Relax, guys. We'll use it in the future. But with that being said, game 3 underway. Funic versus Sing. The nightcap of our doubleheader. Well, it's not really a nightcap for me. It's 12. It's about 12 p.m. here. It's 6 p.m. in Europe. But it's the evening game. We'll call it that. And it's going the distance. The second match of today that's going the distance. Who's going to move on to face S4 in that losers bracket round 3? Who's going home? We'll find out in just a few. Stay tuned for that.